One day I was getting my hair cut and Truman walked in with his bodyguard. And so George had to kind of finish clipping me before Harry could have his haircut. And I said, "Hello, Mr. President." And I couldn't help it. I was thinking of the bomb. I was in my mind, and I think Dick Van Dyke was on the TV. There was the shoe shine man who was shining shoes in the corner. And I wanted to ask him, why? Have you had any regrets about it? And he was sitting in the chair, but his hands were both shaking, And of course, I'm sure it had to do with his age and his condition, his health condition. But I took that at that point to be almost the answer, that he was still sort of shaking from having done it or thought about it or just maybe other decisions that he had made. And later, of course, I found out that this probably wasn't the case because he was basically whistling for joy when he heard the first reports about the devastation that it had wrought. I kind of regret not actually asking him, but like I say, I felt like, or at least the way I rationalize it now, I felt like he was answering me.
Cow paths are very interesting trails. Cattle are creatures of the herd, meaning they receive comfort within the group and follow each other from place to place so they won't be left alone. Herding cows is relatively easy once one understands this.
No longer are we just producers of nature, the stewards of nature, coming from, God to man to nature below us, that we are not a special creation, that we are integrated, that we are part of the forward rush of life, that our very beings from the bottom up are an expression of the totality of these processes that brought us to this moment to even contemplate our connection to it, this awareness that we seem to start to it's a becoming awareness, I think.
Cow paths don't meander. They generally connect food and water, and cattle, being herd-oriented, follow the lead cow.
Our identity, how do we frame it? Does it stop at our skins? I'm all for individual rights in the sense of the rights that we have as individuals, but if you concentrate too much on that, we're missing the connection that we have, that our identity doesn't stop at our skins, that it's moving in and out, and we are informed by the material of the world, the material of the stars, and all life. We're integrated to it rather than really this separate thing. Once we realize that or believe it, it seems to me, or are convinced of it, that would profoundly change the way our culture treats animals, for example, or the way we think of the environment.
Where the path becomes interesting is somewhere between the food and the water. The path splits into 2, then 3 branches, and depending on how long the journey, sometimes many paths develop. Why? After ample consideration and observation, the reason becomes clear.
It's kind of an earthworm's first kind of movement. The smallest, the meekest, is in a sense the mightiest. And they are our brothers and sisters. You know, not only now we know our genetic code is largely earthworm. And so we literally are connected with them, but also they're the ones that mulch the earth. They're the ones that aerate the soil, that make, in a sense, all of this civilization in our lives possible. So they are, in our sense, deep brother sisters, because they're switch hitters, as you probably know.
Cows also graze as they walk. And if you follow a cow long enough, the optimum grazing once enjoyed soon becomes soil. So after picking and sifting through the shit for a while, making a new path is the best decision.
It's all there. You know, it's a holographic sort of thing. We really are the universe in the sense that, I mean, again, the Darwinian process and vision, that's what it teaches us. And to me, that is a profound spiritual truth. It's not just a biological idea. And there has been a lot of reticence to accept it. And part of that problem is an ethical dilemma, you know, because if we truly believe this, then you look at how cruelly we treat animals in our culture and how the whole economy is built upon it. You look at various kinds of things, nuclear proliferation. There are all kinds of things that we could look at from this grand point of view I'm suggesting and just scratch our heads and wonder why.